up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is season 14, episode 8, and my God. Mess. Um, Bear with me with the lighting. My ring light blew out. You know, it is what it is. But we gonna keep it going. Y'all. So y'all know sometimes before we get into it, we get a little spicy, just a little bit. So I just have John and Rachel and Danielle. So just three people we're gonna talk about. So first up, let's talk about John. So John was on this podcast called, let me look at it right quick. Gotta get sleep. I don't know why I ain't got my notes together. Called Reality Life with Kate Casey, where pretty much in that clip, he basically said that like right now as it stands, being on Real Housewives of New Jersey hasn't really been worth it because of the way that people have been treating him and looking at him. So let me play that clip for you guys.
Socially, professionally?
Yes, there's been a lot affected by some of the comments made. I'm paying, reputationally, I'm paying big time. I have scenarios with, my son's friends. I don't want to directly say my son's friends' parents. Hey, you know what? I heard this about him. Stay away from them. I've had that happen already. I sit in a meeting and I look and I'm like, I got people looking at me weird because I've learned that you could literally make up any rumor you want, throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. I had a very important meeting yesterday for a very important contract. And the hardest part about the meeting was explaining how they look me up on Google and everything that pops up.
Now, do you, in the quiet of your home, have conversations like, was this worth it or not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, and I have no problem saying it. It just, at this particular time where I am in this show, this was not worth it.
So here's my thing, y'all. I don't like John. I don't like Rachel, and I'm indifferent towards Danielle, but leaning on. I don't know if I'm not feeling you. But I'm saying this all to say is that I cannot like somebody and not harass them or go the extra mile to disparage their name just off of because I don't like the way that they show up on a reality TV show. You need to touch some grass or go outside or find other hobbies if you are doing that. If you come across this video and you're doing that, that's weirdo behavior and you should be ashamed of yourself because it's never that deep. It's never that deep. It really isn't. It really isn't. Last night, like that's why I say you got to have other hobbies. Is like people that only have one hobby are weirdos. They are. You have to have other interests. Like that's why on this channel I talk about what I want to talk about. Anime, manga, movies that I like to watch. I might review a scripted show. I talk about what I see on TikTok or like something in the news and my reality shows. Like you need to have variety because I feel like a lot of people who make housewives like their personality, they fixate and then they become very like, you become a zealot and it's weird. I don't know these people. I don't follow Rachel. I don't follow John. I don't follow Danielle. The main way I get my information to talk about in these spicy corners and the drama videos is I'm like on the blogs. Like I'll be like I tell y'all, I be scrolling and then it pops up. I don't go actively searching for this information because for what? For what? But then I also look at John like, what did you expect? Like you're on this reality show. Did you not expect them to like for people to go digging and find out things about you? Like when the baby mama came out and spoke her piece, I didn't care because I was like, okay, she's speaking about her experiences with you and Rachel. And you did the same about y'all's experiences with her. So it's like it's fair game. But I just feel like now we're stepping into territory that's like, y'all are doing way too much. Like that active harassing people is weirdo behavior on a TV show that you don't have to watch. You can very well click off and watch something else or go outside, take a trip, go get some ice cream, get a drink, but leave them people alone. So next, let's talk about Rachel. So Rachel was on Watch What Happens Live last night, and I think the other guest sitting beside her was, she was like an SNL host. or like not a host but an actor. I don't watch SNL. Okay, it ain't never appealed to me. I was like a Mad TV kid growing up. But Rachel was asked about the whole has been comment, and she had to clean it up because it didn't make sense. But let me play that clip for y'all.
I will say, when we posted for questions, we got a lot of negative feedback about you saying Teresa was a has-been.
So what?
Okay, well, I'm asking you about that.
About calling her husband?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At some
I
point,
mean, is she a husband? She is on, she's on the next season of House of Villains. I mean, she's kind of booked and busy.
I totally get that. And I don't mean like her career as a has-been.
Okay.
In my opinion, this is up for her. She needs a next chapter. Like, let's move on. She's almost like too famous to be here, I kind of feel like sometimes.
Okay.
Where it's like, let's move on to something else. Like, this doesn't make sense anymore.
So the whole has been comment. I'm glad that Andy called Rachel to task about that because it didn't make sense. Because if we're going to be all the way 100, Teresa is the only one that when people think of Real Housewives of New Jersey, it's Teresa. Teresa is the first person that pops up into your mind, and maybe everybody else follows suit. But when I think of New Jersey, Teresa is the first one that I think of, and I'm not a tree hugger or a tree stomper, but like she is the first person that I think of, and it's like Andy pointed out, she about to be on House of Villains. I'm like looking at Rachel like, girl, they didn't ask you to be on Traders like Dolores. You know, Margaret got a whole bleaching hair commercial. Like nobody else. Like I think except I remember Caroline Manzo and Teresa did that Doritos commercial. Teresa did that other Super Bowl commercial with Kyle and Kenya. Like Teresa has been in things are done things where it's like, Rachel, that's not has been behavior. So I was glad that she had to clean it up. I do get what she means where she's like, well, she's beyond this. And in my mind, I do think Teresa is. I think that she and her family should get a spinoff. If they could have 9 or 8 seasons of Don't Be Tardy at a Party, which I feel like nobody was watching that. I feel like Kim locked somebody into like some slave contract and they had to give it to her. I don't know. But if she could have that many seasons of Don't Be Tardy for the Party and nothing really happened on that show, then they could give Teresa a show and her fans will follow. And she'll be all right. Rachel, you and your husband, on the other hand, probably not. If y'all don't have this show in the sense of like relevancy that y'all keep harping on. So then the last thing we're going to talk about is Danielle. Let's talk about Danielle before we get into the review. So she posted this on the night of the actual episode where she said this. The clean-hearted always win in the end. Remember that at Bravo TV tonight at 8 p.m. RHONJ, Good versus Evil Part 1. So I guess Part 2 might be what we saw in the trailer where you see everybody sitting at the table and you hear Jennifer being like, she don't like you, and then they go at it and stuff like that. So then next, she posted this morning where she said, when people thought you were crazy, but you were just going through an awakening, and now you've risen like a phoenix from the ashes. So Danielle is feeling vindicated. I know when all this information came out, there was all these different types of rumors saying that Danielle was the one that was the aggressor, or Jennifer was this. It was all these conflicting stories, but Danielle kept saying, no, you have to watch the season because I know what I did wasn't wrong. So I guess she is feeling very vindicated by what happened. And I mean, a lot of people agree with what she did. Not me, really. But we gonna get into that. So let's get into this. So the episode opens up and we got Danielle going to Melissa's place. So Melissa has a new Envy boutique. Well, the same boutique. She just moved it to the new part of the city that her and her family lives now. Honestly, I need Melissa to have better decor. Like when I think of Envy, I think of green with envy. I know she has like scattered like plants in there, but it's just like, it's not giving. And after watching Inside Out and seeing the portrayal of Envy and her being like, every time she saw something, that's how I think you should feel when you go into someone's establishment named Envy. And a lot of what I saw in Melissa's story just gives like, I don't know if y'all have this. Is it papaya? It gives papaya like Fashion Nova Shein type vibes. Like it's not giving me something where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to envy it. I need you to give me something to envy. But Danielle pulls up. She's excited because Melissa's having a fashion show because the last time she had a fashion show was in 2020. So she really wants to have another one. So she invited Danielle to like, I guess, help, screen models or see the process so she could see how Melissa runs her business. So she's excited. They didn't get on the topic about the whole bottle situation with Teresa. And here's my thing. When Melissa's like, it was strategic, all of them are doing strategic. All of them are doing strategic stuff at this point. Like, after watching this episode, I was like, oh, so y'all all using each other. Y'all are all trying to, like, level the playing field. And y'all are all trying to figure out who gonna get to keep their job at the end of this season. Because I definitely think after watching this episode, I was like, oh, y'all knew y'all's pink slips were coming. Or y'all knew y'all asses was on the chopping block. And now everyone's like, okay, we got to figure out what to do. So now it feels like everyone's trying to like figure out where they should go. And my thing about Danielle is Danielle keeps saying that she's in the middle, but it's like you're making yourself be in the middle. Every time we see you with Melissa, you're always like, oh, I wonder if Teresa's going to be upset. I hope Teresa's not going to be upset. And then when you're with Teresa, you asking about Melissa, and it's like, if they haven't pressed you about the situation, then why you keep bringing it up? So you trying to straddle the fence, but it's like, it's clear to me that you want to kick it with Melissa. And that's cool. Just go over there and be with Melissa. But I do think Danielle wants to keep her friendship with Teresa, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Teresa, well, as it stands, Teresa's still loyal to Jennifer. So, you know what? I'll play it in the thing. So then pretty much they start talking about the whole bottle and how she felt like it was strategic. Danielle was like, I don't know if that's that because I did the same thing for my family. But then Melissa was like, well, did you send it and like at a party or when it was like personal? She said personal. And my thing about it was like, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like if you didn't want the bottle, you should have told Dolores, leave it outside. Or you could take it back with you. Or leave it at the door. Like, Teresa should have never sent the bottle. Y'all should have never gave that performance. Melissa being like, wow. And then Joe having this like Shakespearean speech about the whole situation and then throwing the card in the fire. It wasn't that deep. Like, which makes me feel like y'all still care. Like all the parties involved still care to a certain extent. Because I don't care what Teresa says. Just because Louis says sent it don't mean you had to do it. Because if my husband or whoever I was with was like, we need to send it, I would have told you, I'm not doing it. You send it your damn self. I'm not cool with them. I'm not about to give them nothing from me and don't put my name on it. But you wanted to because you wanted to see if you could get a reaction. And if you look at the way Teresa was like when Dolores was explaining about the bottle, she was smiling because I think she was hoping that something positive was going to come from it. But then when Jennifer was like, oh, Bill told me he threw the card in the fire, her face immediately kind of shifted and she was like, yeah, my brother's petty. And it's like, because you wanted it to be something and then you tried to clean it up by being like, oh no, Louis wanted to send it. And it's like, no, if you didn't want him to send it or if you didn't want to be a part of it, then you shouldn't have told him to put your name on it or allowed him to put your name on it. So let me go back to what's it called, Danielle and Melissa. So then they start talking about the whole thing about what happened between Jackie and Dolores, and Danielle's like, I'm trying to figure out what she's trying to do. And like she was like, is she trying to be cool with Teresa because she wants to be friends with Teresa, or is she trying to click up against Margaret? But she was like, I'm just watching because it looks like she about to have egg on her face, because the moment Teresa be like F you, she gonna be feeling stupid, which Danielle wasn't wrong about. Then she brought up the whole situation with her and Jennifer, where she was like, she basically was trying to accuse me of like stealing from my charity. And Melissa was like, that's a pretty serious accusation. She was like, yeah, and it's not true. Like, we would never, like me and Nate would never do nothing like that. So it just hurts my feelings, but I'm going to Teresa's party. So Teresa's having like a little get together. We're supposed to be like, remind her of Tulum, because that's where her and Louis go to have a good time. And so Danielle's invited and she says she's going to talk to Jennifer there about it. So we switch over to Teresa, Dolores, and Jennifer, they're at like this crystal shop, and they're like, they have like a sound bath situation, and then afterwards they start talking. They question about Dolores and Polly. She tells them like, oh, we're going into business. Jennifer's face is like, girl, what? Going into business? Don't you want to be married? But then, like Jennifer says, I don't talk about it because anytime we talk to Dolores about her relationship, she gets pissed. And then they show flashbacks of when people were questioning her about David. But to Jennifer's credit, girl, didn't he buy you a ring? And then they flash back to when Paulie said he had a ring when they were sitting at that dinner with what's his name? With Frank and Brittany. So Paulie giving mixed signals, and Dolores, I don't know, girl. I don't know. You too pretty to be dealing with all of this. So they then get on the whole Jackie of it all. We find out because Teresa blatantly said, girl, yeah, I'm using her. I want her to take Margaret down. And then Jennifer confirms that Jackie told them she knows all of Margaret's secrets. And I said, girl, use it. You say what you got to say. But and I was kind of impressed because I was like, I really thought Teresa wanted to be cool with Jackie. But no, Jackie been going on this whole thing about how her and Teresa are friends. And Teresa's like, no, I'm using her. And I know she using me because Dolores lays it out verbatim. I think she's trying to be your friend because she knows you're popular and she's trying to sell her book. And she's always thought she was better than us. And then they flash back to the reunion where, they were arguing where Teresa was like, I have a New York's bestsellers. And what's her name? Jackie was like, you didn't even write it. And Teresa was like, and what have you done? All you got is a blog. And so to me, I'm not even feeling bad for Jackie, and I don't feel bad for Teresa, whatever the outcome is, because look, Teresa knows that Jackie is using her for screen time probably and trying to, popularity. And I mean, I don't know if Jackie knows. I know Jackie knows, or maybe she don't know. I don't know. All I know is everybody using everybody at this point. So then, Jennifer starts talking about her situation with Danielle, where she was like, I told her about the step and repeat. Like, girl, we showed up to the party. Like, our stuff should have been broadcasted. You didn't do that. And then Dolores Clock, she was like, girl, you just don't like Danielle and you just need a reason not to fool with her. And that's pretty much what it is. I will say Teresa did look pretty in this confessional. This confessional was cute. They also talk about John bringing up Gia's name. And like I said, there was no point for John to bring up Gia's name. But basically, Teresa's like, why is he talking about my daughter? And she was like, oh, he was using it as an analogy. And then they also talked about the dinner where he was like trying to say he wasn't a drug dealer, but he was a drug dealer. And it's true. You got convicted of selling drugs. So you are one. Won't say you are. You were one. You were one. But it wasn't that deep. We then get this scene of Dolores and Paulie going to work out. So Dolores is trying to keep that body together. That's what the girlies don't understand. When you get a BBL, you still have to work out. Or it starts to, like, when you start to gain weight, it starts to get hard or get lopsided. Or your body will absorb it. I mean, but that's not through, like not working out. It's just that's, the fat that you're putting there is not the fat that normally goes there. So your body will see it as a foreign substance and try to absorb it, so you pee it out or breathe it out. But her and Paulie are working out. Paulie basically said he gonna leave Dolores if she gets surgery, and Dolores is like, you can't tell me what to do with my body. They didn't do a flashback to David because David was against plastic surgery, and to a certain extent I get where the men are coming from. Like, Dolores don't need to be on nobody's table at 50 something years old. That's more of a risk for you to die. Like, we can't act like doing surgery, whether it is voluntary or necessary, there's always a high possibility that you could pass away. So I think it's more so like, girl, you don't need it. But also, she's a grown woman, and if she want to do it, she has the autonomy to do it because it is her body. So I said, girl, do you. We get this scene with Margaret and Rachel at Rachel's house. We find out that the little girl, the youngest baby that was having issues with her tongue, they did surgery. It went well. She's just miserable, which makes sense because having a tooth pain is miserable. So I can only think about like your mouth being swollen from having surgery. So they go sit outside. Why was John lingering in the background? And see, John, this is why people think you thirsty and desperate to like be on TV and have a moment, because it's like the conversation didn't really have anything to do with you. And I think that's also why John gets on my nerves, because I feel like he is like encroaching on Rachel's territory. Like, let Rachel have her moment. Let Rachel be a housewife, you be a house bro or a husbro, and then when they need you, they pull you in. Stop lingering. Go in the house with them kids. So they start talking. Rachel talks about how overwhelming it's been dealing with her daughter. Then Margaret gets emotional because she shares with Rachel about how, I guess, what's his name? Joe might have prostate cancer. She was saying that like there were elevated signs when they went to the doctor and it freaked her out. So she started crying, and then they get on the topic of Jackie. And then Rachel was like, is that why you kind of been going at Jackie so hard? And she was like, Jackie went over there trying to talk to my closest friend and say I speak negatively about her when she speaks negatively about everybody, and I have the text messages to prove it, so I stuck it to her. That shows her character. And I said, no, Margaret, it shows both of y'all's. It really does. And it also kind of shows the similarities that you and Teresa have, even though you don't want to admit it, that y'all see a lot of people on this cast as beneath you. Because you've called Melissa stupid like 2 times, talking about she don't read books. She don't like books. And then every chance you get, you calling Jackie psychotic. Like questioning that lady's mental health and like talking about how she be spiraling and you be talking her off the ledge, and you see all the stuff I've been dealing with. And it's like you've never really valued her if you felt like helping her work through her issues was a burden. And it says a lot about you too, Margarita. And I love you, but it says a lot about you too. And so I was actually surprised that Rachel told Margaret that was low. That was low. And she was like, and I'm never texting you. And I said, Rachel, you should not text her. I would not text her. Especially if she's capable of doing that. Because I'm like, Margaret, it was iconic. Don't get me wrong. Like, that was a moment. That's going to forever be a moment on Real Housewives, like, history. Because I was like, ooh, girl, I ooped. Because she got you. She got you. She got you right then and there, Jackie. But I feel as though it's like, Margaret, I'm looking at you like, why does Jackie feel so comfortable being that way to you? Like, no one could ever tell me that they hate one of my best friends in a text message to me. You could never call one of my good friends a slob, and I wouldn't even be tripping off the slob. It'd be like, why? Like, I hate her. Why do you hate her? And why do you think you could talk to me and tell me that you hate her? Why? Like, the fact that she felt so comfortable, and you didn't even address that hate comment, because let me see. You kept the conversation moving, saying, when did she post it? You never said, okay, girl, the hate comment and the slob is a bit much. It's a bit much. But you never checked her on that in this text message that you sent. So why does she feel so comfortable, Margaret? Because you be talking about everybody, ma'am. You do. So, pretty much Margaret says she done with Jackie. She done with Jackie. She don't want no relationship with Jackie. We then getting ready for Teresa's party. We have this scene where it's Teresa, Louie, and Gia, and they're all they're all getting ready for the party. And Teresa's telling Gia about what Jackie said about Dolores, calling Dolores a slob. And Gia was like, why would she say that? And so they then start talking about Jackie. And she was like, Teresa's like, I'm glad I'm being friends with Jackie, but I need Jackie to like speak up and go against Margaret. Like, I want her to speak up and take Margaret down. And if she can't do that, then we can't be friends. And Gia was like, well, if she know, I guess she would be on our side if she know what she's done to our family. And people were mad that Gia was speaking up, but I'm like, what do y'all want from the kids? She's not a child. She's 22 years old. If y'all are saying she's fair game now that she's speaking, then let her speak her truth. If she wants to speak about the way that she's experienced Margaret, then she's allowed to do so. And she's about to be on a reality show with Candy's daughter, Riley, Brooks, Meredith's son, Kamorley Simmons, youngest daughter, Dame Dash's daughter, and I think Dame Dash's daughter's boyfriend and some other person. But it's just kind of she's an adult. She should be allowed to speak. And if Margaret wants to come back at her, she can. And Gia can come back at Margaret. It's not that deep. It would be different if Gia was 15 or 14 years old, or or like if she was doing what Yasmin was doing at the party, but she's 22. She's allowed to speak up. She's an adult. Y'all always talking about like children should be able to speak up and say what they mean and mean what they say. Then let her say what she mean and mean what she say. It is what it is. At the party, Jackie gets there and pretty much they talking mad trash about Margaret in front of Jennifer Fessler, and she is shocked. She was like, "Y'all know I'm right here," and they don't care. They said either, and I was looking at Jennifer Fessler. I was like, either say something or hush, because you're not saying nothing, you're not speaking up. But they was going in. Jennifer and Teresa were telling Jackie like, girl, speak up, say something. Say something. And she was like, you also need to talk to Dolores. So we see the scene with Dolores and Jackie talk. Honestly, y'all, like I said in my last video, Dolores has never liked Jackie. And it stems back for when Jackie got on the show, because like Dolores said, Jackie thinks she better than us. And she don't like it. She also said that, like, I also think she has never seen it for Jackie when Jackie pressed her about not being a good friend to Jennifer last season, and Dolores was like, what did you say? And Jackie didn't back down from her. I think ever since then, Dolores has not seen it for Jackie. So I think this situation gives Dolores a chance to like stand in her truth and be like, I don't have to be friends with that girl no more. So they're having a conversation. Honestly, Jackie was not reading the room, because I had to run the clip back when she was like, where do we go from here? You know? And I thought she was talking to Dolores like, where do we go from here? She was talking about herself with Margaret. She was like, Dolores, when she sent that text, I didn't know what to, like, and you saw it, I didn't know what to say, know what to do. Like, we all vent to each other. And like, for her to do something like that, like, I don't know if I can come back from that. I'm like, well, ma'am, first you should be apologizing, Jackie. Read the room, then you should be talking about yourself. So I got it. Dolores was looking at her like, girl, I'm good on you, Jackie. The door is closed. The door is closed. Like, she was like, I'm good on Jackie. We could take a break. So then we see this scene of where Danielle and Teresa were talking. They were talking about the whole situation about her versus Jennifer. Teresa was like, well, just talk to Jennifer. So Jennifer pulls up. This is what it sounds like to me. It sounds like what Jennifer is saying that Danielle did, she did. Danielle paid herself off the money that was given to the charity, and then she gifted whatever as leftovers, pretty much. Because she, like, that's the thing, like, Danielle is not negating what Jennifer is saying, even though she's saying that people are making up stuff, but it sounds like that's what you're doing. Danielle says you don't pay yourself back. No, Jennifer is like, you don't pay yourself back for charity. You like, all that money goes to that. You don't pay yourself. Well, Danielle is like, I'm not a multimillionaire like you. And Jennifer's like, we're only one. And I'm like, Jennifer, you're lying, girl. You're lying. To act, I don't know why. Basically, honestly, what this boils down to is Jennifer doesn't have anything going on, so she's picking a fight with Danielle. And I love New Nose Jennifer. I do. I love me some New Nose Jennifer. But it's clear as day that she is just picking a fight with Danielle. I don't know if it's because she feels like Danielle is getting too close to Teresa, or legit, she don't have nobody else to beef with, so she wants, and she doesn't really see value in Danielle on this show. And she knows she can't get it with Margaret, because Margaret can give it to her. And she don't want to beef with Dolores no more. She's already beefed with Rachel, and they're kind of cool. And Rachel's beefing with Teresa. She's trying to be cool with Jennifer Fessler. And it's like, she don't really have anybody else to beef with. So I just think she beefing with Danielle, because it's not that deep. And to be like, girl, we don't have that much, when they were like, you have the biggest house in Paramus. On top of that, you have the Shore house, and then you have all these cars. But this also makes me look at production, like, why are y'all not putting people in the same tax bracket on these shows? Just like it doesn't make sense that Walmart Gina is over there in OC living in that little casita. Like, I want people to be on the same playing field, because honestly, this is a frivolous argument, but that is what Housewives is, a frivolous argument. But Danielle is taking it more personal, because she doesn't have the money that they have, and it really feels like an attack on her character. So then Jennifer is like, well, you didn't even like put our stuff everywhere, like Bill Aiden surgery or Namaste bitches, like we showed up. And she was like, well, there were other people there, but that's the thing where I have to agree with Jennifer. The only reason you had all those people there and all those vendors there is because you promised them Teresa, Jennifer, and Dolores. If it was just you, you're brand new. Nobody's about to give you anything unless they know that one of the key people are going to come. Like, same if it would have been Margaret or Melissa there. Like, people would be coming because of Margaret and Melissa, and because they know Margaret's going to bring Joe, or, you know, Dolores might pull up and Frank might come, or Polly might be there. Like, they came not off the strength of you, off the strength of them. So I get where Jennifer is coming from, but again, it's still like it's a non-issue. So then Jennifer was like, no, I saw other things, because Danielle's like, is that really what the issue is? Is that really what the issue is? And then Jennifer's like, no, something else happened, but I don't want to say it. And Danielle's like, say it. So pretty much Jennifer says that she was tagged, like Danielle asked her if she wanted to be a part of her glam squad's, like, who's doing new hair extensions. I think her name is like Marissa or something like that. And well, it seems like Jennifer, like, pretty much used Danielle's words against her, where she was like, you were trying to take money from your friend because you told me not to do it, because you were like, that might be a conflicting issue between my hair lady and your hair lady. And Danielle was like, are you serious? Are you serious? Like, she was like, oh, you serious right now? Like, you really serious right now? And Jennifer's just smirking like, yeah, girl, I am. Then things get heated, where that's when Danielle was like, oh, you're dirty. You're a dirt bag. Everybody was right about you. You're dirty. You're a dirt bag. And so Jennifer is like, calm down. Calm down, Danielle. You need to calm down, Danielle. And then she's like, you're a dirt bag, and everybody was right about you. And I'm like, this is when Teresa should have stepped in and been like, y'all need to chill out. Y'all need to chill out. Chill out. And so you see Jen Fessler and you see Dolores looking like, girl, I'm not about to go over there with them arguing about that charity event. It's not that deep. And so that's when, so this is what happened. They're yelling back and forth. You see Nate in the background watching them argue. You see, like, so, because I'm getting my bearings right. So Jennifer walks around the table. So then Danielle walks around the table, and, you know, they're going back and back and forth. And that's when, Jennifer comes around the table first. Danielle goes around the table first. Jennifer steps up to Danielle like, calm down, girl, calm down. So then Danielle gets like, because Jennifer steps up, Danielle steps back up, and she's like, you're a dirt bag. And then that's when Jennifer pushes her, you're a dirt bag. And then that's when whatever cup that Danielle had in her hand, she whopped. When I mean you, she whopped the shit out of Jennifer. It was fast too. Like, it was whop. And everyone was mad at Teresa because they were like, oh, Teresa's playing stupid. But if you watch the replay, Teresa's like, and you slow it down, Teresa legit looked this way when Jennifer pushed Danielle and Danielle clocked her with that cup. Her reflexes are fast as hell. Fast as hell. I said, dang. Dang. And as much as I like Jennifer, it is what it is, bro. I feel like to a certain extent they're both wrong. Like, someone tweeted this out and I actually agreed, where they said both sides are at fault. You don't get in someone's face like that unless you're looking for a bigger problem, and you don't push someone away from you without expecting them to do something back. And that's really how I feel. Like, Danielle's energy was mad aggressive, like she wanted to fight, and Jennifer got to learn to keep her hands to herself. Like, you grabbed Melissa last season, but y'all know Melissa ain't no fighter. Danielle's reflexes were super fast. And Jennifer ate it. She ate that punch. She ate it, and it makes, well, not punch, but the slap in the face. And that cup broke. Like, it broke apart. Honestly, I see why they both got suspended. 'Cause Jennifer should have never like shoved that girl with all her might, and not Jackie, but Danielle retaliating by whopping her up the side of the head and the cup breaking, that was a lot. That I ain't even gonna lie, that was a lot. Now, am I saying that this show is any moral? Because that's the other part that bothers me. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's so dark. They have been fighting since season 2, the christening season. They were fighting in a church. Was it a church? I thought they was in the basement of the church. Or like, yeah, y'all were fighting at a child's christening season 2. When the cousins was on, we saw them fighting up in the woods. It was both Juicy Joe and Joe Gorga running up on each other like two bulls in the woods. Then we had the twins. Y'all remember the twins and Amber where they was at the Halloween party and one of the twins yanked Amber's hair, and so Amber yanked the other girl's hair and they was like this. And then you had Margaret pushing old boy in the pool. Then when she poured that water on Danielle and Danielle snatched that ponytail as hard as she could to the ground. We got Teresa, palming the hell out of them drinks when they were with like a couple, like maybe a season or 2 ago at Margaret's, calling her a lying bitch. She was like, whop, whop. Then you got the shuffling of hands with Jennifer and Melissa. You had them, Jennifer with the fork, throwing the fork. You had Melissa throwing up the cheese plate, wasting good cheese. They fight on this show. They get physical on this show. This is not dark. This is their MO. And like I said on Twitter, I had to ride for Danielle Stobbs when she yanked the out of Margaret's ponytail, because you poured water on that lady. You poured water on her head and you poured water in her purse. You lucky all she did was yank your ponytail, trying to snap your head off like a bobblehead. And just like this with Jennifer, you could tell Danielle was ready for action. Y'all got close. Then you got closer, she got closer, and you shoved her. You should have been ready, because she clocked you, gear. She clocked you good too. But like I said, Jennifer ate it. She ate it. She didn't cry. She ate it. So then, and you could tell it was a reflex, because the way that Danielle was like breathing, like, and she realized, like, when her husband was like, girl, and she was like, oh my gosh. And then immediately he was like, oh, we got to leave. So then when they go into the kitchen, Bill is sitting at the table eating, and she's like, your wife's a dirty bitch. You're sleeping with the devil. I said, okay. And so Nate, like before they left, Nate was like, really, Jennifer, y'all supposed to be friends. So you could tell that he was hurt by Jennifer. We found out that I guess Jennifer also gave them gifts for like a christening and everything. Dolores and Polly are like, yeah, y'all should go. You got Gia and her friends being like, girl, what happened? So Teresa's following them and being like, what's going on? What happened? I didn't even see what happened. Bill comes outside. He was like, y'all got physical? Like, what happened? Danielle is like, yeah, I said some things and it is what it is. So then we see the other new girl and she's like, well, if someone threw a drink on me, like, would you? She said, yeah, if someone shoved me, I would throw a drink on them too. That's what Teresa said. And the other new girl was like, yeah, if someone threw a drink on me, I'd shove them too. So then in the car, you see Nate and Danielle talking. Danielle's like, I'm everything that's wrong with her life. I got a loving husband. I got good kids. My businesses are thriving. That's why she coming at me. And I said, to a certain extent, you might be right. Because, I mean, like, we know Bill and Jennifer's relationship isn't good. He's sleeping in the pool house. He never, like, rides for her the way the other husbands do. And so it is what it is, Danielle, like I said, she seems vindicated. I saw a clip of her and her friends watching it, and she was like, these are my VIPs. So it is what it is. I don't think it's that deep. When I tell you she hit her hard. She whopped her hard. You got Jennifer saying like she was in my personal space. And again, like that person said, like, you get that aggressive with somebody, you should like, and that's why I kind of feel like it's fault on both sides for me a little bit, where it's like Jennifer walked up, Danielle walked up. Danielle is like, you dirt bag. So I'm like, you should be prepared for somebody to shove you back. But I'm also looking at Jennifer. You shoved her. You should have been ready for whatever was going to come your way. And that Why she picked it up. Why? And it shattered. I don't think it was glass. I think it was a plastic cup, but I feel like had it been glass, oh, Jennifer's face would have been cut all the way up. It'd have been cut all the way up. Cause that was a hit. She hit her hard. Okay, she hit her hard. And I said, damn. Okay. Yeah, y'all, that was the big fight. I was kind of annoyed because I felt like blogs were hyping it up to be like something like, oh my gosh. And someone was like, oh, it's on the same level as Potomac. But I was like, Potomac was worse. Potomac was way worse than that. Like, this kind of reminded me of Married to Medicine, the last season 9, where Audra and Toya got into it, and she got in Toya's face, and Toya popped her, and Audra was about to come with the fist. Like, Toya said, you get one time. You get one time. It just reminded me of that. Like, I'm not, like, it didn't, what's the word? Like, it's not as bad as I feel like they were making it seem. Like, to me, you could tell that Jim felt embarrassed. But I mean, like, your face didn't get messed up. You ate the punch. You ate it. I mean, it is what it is at this point. And I mean, also, they not coming back. So, I mean, they about to reboot the show. So, is it really that bad? Because y'all both can live y'all lives after this like nothing really happened. Other than people might throw it in Jen's face that you got popped like that. And people might throw in Danielle's face that they think she violent and aggressive. But at this point, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, drop down, leave your comments, be respectful. I mean that with all of me. You get in them comments that you disrespect me or get nasty with other people, I will delete your comment and block you. Like, you should be able to have conversation and discourse without being nasty. Remember, you don't know these people. I don't know these people. This is just my opinion. So you're allowed to have a different opinion, but don't be nasty, okay? As always, remember to be bravely authentic. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.